Mazzarella here with Gateway Financial Partners. We're trying a new segment out called Ask Derek. I often get asked questions about finances and financial planning, so I thought, why don't we put a couple videos together and just kind of see what questions you have. As always, in the future, if you have any other questions you like, just please send it to my email and be happy to answer your questions on the next segment we do. So the first question I got was, when should I get involved with a financial advisor? This is going to be an individual choice for you, but typically most people think it's when I have X amount of money. The analogy I always use is if you want to, go see a trainer, you don't try and lose 30 pounds first, then go see the trainer. You want to go see the trainer when you need it the most. So the few different things you want to look at are, can I do it myself? Possibly, but do you have enough time? One of the big things is it takes a lot of time to research what's the right mortgage rate to have, what's the right tax rate to have, what should I do, a Roth or a traditional IRA, am I on track for retirement? There's a lot of resources out there, and there's no doubt that you can achieve those or get the results you want using those resources, but you have the time for it. Other times I see people engage advisors when it's just not something they want to do. If you have no interest in finances, but you want to get organized and make sure your finances are doing well, that's a good time. Also, usually life events happen. So typically when someone either starts a new job, someone has a child, someone gets married, their kids graduate college, now their focus is retirement. So usually life events are also a good thing. So those are kind of just a few examples of when you'd engage an advisor, but also if you just want to bounce some ideas off someone outside of your normal bubble. Because we all have advisors that tend to be friends, and they may not be the best advisors for you. So that's one thing to think about. Question number 2, how often should I meet with an advisor? This is generally going to be very much up to the individual person. Typically I'd say, depending on how complicated the finances are, probably once or twice a year at a minimum. But one thing I always tell clients is whenever there's a question, just reach out. Because inevitably there's going to be a decision that comes on that may impact something else. Typically on average, I probably meet with clients 4+ times a year, but generically at a minimum once or twice. This is a good question too. Should I focus more on investing or saving early on? One thing I think people always gravitate towards the sexy things like getting a higher rate of return, or hey, I picked this stock over this stock. When you look over the long term, the most important thing you can do is save money. Your savings rate will always trump your rate of return. And I'll give you an example. So let's say you get a really great rate of return. You get 10% rate of return on $100. Congrats, you earn $10. But if you had $10,000 saved and you earn that same 10%, now you have $1,000. So it's more meaningful to start saving as much as you can as early as possible. The typical good savings rate that we always shoot for clients, just as an FYI, 15 to 20% of your gross earnings. What are important steps to take as a young professional? So young professionals are just starting out. The few things that I think you want to make sure you understand is how do my employee benefits work? So that isn't only just your 401k plan, but you want to make sure you have the right disability coverage through work. You want to make sure you have the right life insurance coverage through work. You also want to look at building up your credit, because your credit score can affect a lot of other things that happen later on in your life. So getting a mortgage, buying that first car, that can increase your payments. And the other thing is really just kind of getting a handle on what you want to accomplish. This may sound silly, but let's say you want to take a vacation somewhere. You don't just get in the car and start driving. That's how most people take life, example. So the thing you really should do is plan where you want to go first, then you come up with an idea of how you want to get there. And the other kind of final thing I would say is personal development is key. The more you can invest in yourself and your personal growth, I think that's going to be the best investment you can have over any stock. So that's it for our first iteration of Ask Derek. I hope you enjoyed the answers to the questions. Like I said, if you have any other questions that come up, please feel free to shoot me an email, and hope to hear from you soon.